Okay, see I got my wind chimes here. Aren't they nice? Isn't that exquisite? Okay, I'm pointing out this tree that's like a bonsai tree right now for a reason, because I'm going to talk about that later. And I wanted to point out that I left the plastic covering my windows on for now because last year it was snowy, and then in March it began to get warm like it is now, and all the snow disappeared for a while. And then about the end of March, beginning of April, it started to snow again, and it snowed heavy. And it remained snowy, and the snow remained on the ground all the way until June. Isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh, it was snowy until June here in Ohio last year. Isn't that funny? So, I mean, this room is getting kind of stuffy. I mean, with the plastic on it, it's now getting stuffy, and I kind of want to remove it, but because of last year, how last year was, I thought I'd just go ahead and leave it up and be observant until maybe about mid-April. We'll just see how things go. Maybe I'll take it down earlier, maybe later. We'll see. Okay, so here we have my letters here, and with my the last time I read one of these letters in these videos, I pointed out that first the Sphinx were in 2 and then also in 4, making a square shape, and then later they were in a hexagonal shape because there were 6 of them. And there's the country of Turkey, and then the Black Sea, and there's the country of Ukraine and Turkey, and crane birds have to do with those countries. And then there's chicken. This is a Sphinx with the chicken sitting on the heads. It has to do with Czechoslovakia, and Czechoslovakia later became two nations, 2 countries, the Czech Republic and also the country of Slovakia. Okay, so that letter was dated April 11th, 2020. Here's the next letter, dated April 16th, 2020, and we'll go ahead and read that one. Dear Governor, First Lady, Mayor, President, First Lady, Dwayne, etc. Okay. Each resident of the Refuge of Hope shelter is a refugee. Each has their individual respective stories. We can see that there are a variety of dispositions the residents have. While there is a range of innocent people to people who may be guilty of crimes, it yet is the case of each that some sort of undermining has happened to them. So if they're in a homeless shelter, some sort of undermining happened, resulting with them being there, being homeless. Therefore, there are cases that need to be solved while we endeavor to succeed with having a home, our respective homes. Okay, so not only are homeless residents endeavoring to have a home, but they also may have to solve their cases. I mean, why did they go homeless? Are people vigilant with them? Are people vigilantly, kind of following them around, undermining them? No, Taffy, that isn't the case. That's crazy. No, really, that kind of is what is happening, though. I mean, there are people, turkeys, rascals. We depart on spiritual planes and heavenly planes every day. And there are people who are vigilant with us, undermining us, making it very difficult for us to recover. Okay? So they have to solve the case of crime as a part of getting into housing, getting into a home, having a home again. I mean, so there's a lot to do. And because of the secret nature of the undermining, we may not be able to succeed talking about it so much. However, I discovered I have a window of opportunity to make videos and to explain my case a little bit, because I'm going to talk about how when I first went homeless, I tried to recover, and I discovered people were being vigilant with me. They were following me around, making sure that I would remain homeless. So I'm gonna talk more about that. But for now, I'll continue reading the letter. Here in Ohio, see here, I made a photocopy, and I've got to. The sentence was cut off. So I'll go ahead and turn the page and keep reading here. Okay. Long ago, before many fluxes in time, Ohio had a spiritual tradition with lighthouses on the shores of the lake that we now have been calling Lake Erie. Ohio also had a spiritual tradition with its northern neighbors in Canada. The Canadian geographical area on the northern shore of Lake Erie had a spiritual tradition with a treasure house. See, Ohio is south of Lake Erie, and it had a spiritual tradition with lighthouses on the shore. Then on the other side of Lake Erie is Ontario in Canada, and it had a spiritual tradition with a treasure house. Okay, annually the people of this land would ship sacred treasure to Ohio. The people involved with these sacred traditions would ensure safety measures to counter piracy and conspiracy. They would be observant of the things, such as if the shore would change from sandy to rocky, and other things. See, even then there were fluxes in time. And they would notice, oh my gosh, last time we went to Ohio, the shore was sandy. This time when we're going to Ohio, we're going to the same location, and the shore is rocky. It's all big boulders. What in tarnation? How did that happen? Well, fluxes in time do happen. Okay, so sometimes they would need to anchor and harbor and be observant of the piers. Because, if the landscape had changed with a flux in time, then, it could be dangerous. And so sometimes they would need to anchor while they're yet in the lake offshore, and anchor there and just be observant and survey the land and have the piers fluxed and changed what all had changed. Okay. The lighthouse light bulb wick is the angle of the spearhead. See here, I've drawn the next sphinx here. Okay, being observant of and listening to what kind of light the lighthouse had was a part of this spiritual tradition. So not only would they be observant of whether the shore was sandy or rocky and where the piers were, they were also observant about the lighthouse. Is the lighthouse with an electricity? Does it have an electrical bulb that lights it? Or is it a flame with a mirror behind it that magnifies? Okay, so that's another thing that they would be observant about. That's a part of universal communication. Sometimes our mouths cannot speak the words that'll reach our ears. Okay? Sometimes I want you to hear the words of my mouth, but if a flux in time happens, the words of my mouth don't reach your ear. Ear. Erie, Lake Erie, the ear. Okay? Okay. All right. Was it a flame or was it electric? Was there a flux? Phenomenally, the lighthouse ensured electricity. See, there's something about maintaining this tradition that ensured electricity yet would be here. See, if we're undermining our technology, we want to, rascals want to undermine us so much that we won't even have electricity. So there's something about maintaining the tradition of lighthouses that ensures that electricity will remain a real-time norm. Okay? So this was something to be observant of. All right, so on to my next video.